Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
Hey, what it do? What it do, aunties and uncles and everybody else? Thanks for tuning in to another What's Going Down episode of the Real Housewives of Orange County. Me and my homegirl Erin gonna let you know what we think, what we thought, and what's going on in our minds right about now about this episode. It was so explosive, but before I really start in, because I got a whole lot to say, I think Erin do too. Everybody, please welcome Erin to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. How's it going? We're talking about being hydrated with this good H2O. How's it going?
I'm pretty good. We went out in the neighborhood trick-or-treating, and I had a couple of Jello shots and and like Gretchen, I had a Fireball. And then I had some wine, and so I'm feeling my age in the you shouldn't be drinking that, like mixing like a trash can. What are you doing? So I felt very festive last night, and then this morning I woke up going, "You're old." So I'm fine though. Thankfully it wasn't like one of those real hangovers, but it reminded me that I don't know how Gretchen drinks that crap on the regular. But
is it cinnamony?
Yes.
Yeah, no. Is it like the candy but just alcohol?
Yes.
No, thank you. No, I already kind of no.
Yeah, it's like Red Hots or something. Yeah.
No.
I just, like I said, I was whatever somebody wanted to give me, I was gonna take it because it was fun, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know what was. Anyway, I don't do that very often, and so every now and then I'll get a wild hair, want to have a good time, be a parent with very, you know what I mean, like not be a parent. That sounds terrible, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I indulge in joy with the parents and all that, and paying a little bit of a price today, but not too bad.
It's called adulting. Nothing wrong with adulting when you're an adult.
I guess. Yeah. Except when your body says, you did not, you should have stuck to one. Which one? Should have stuck to the rosé. Anyway. So, but how are you?
I'm good. Halloween was fun last night. Of course, I'm busy as a bee doing what I do. Yes. And I had a big, I would say fairly large container of candy in one of those coolers. It was a plastic cooler, not the foam or anything.
Right.
The hard plastic with the top that folds down. And it's full of candy. It probably, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a big one. And I put it out on the porch I have 2 chairs and a table that's on my front porch already. So I just moved it over because it's kind of like over to the side. So I made it very visible with a note on it that said, "Boo, take whatever you want and be safe." And so that they don't ring my doorbell, child. Stop ringing my doorbell. Ain't nobody coming. The candy's here. Help yourself. And because of my security cameras, I can hear and also communicate through them. So while one device had the camera on, my other device was playing scary music. So when they could hear it from, I don't know, maybe the street. And so as they're coming up, they hear the scary music. They know this, this is one of those houses that's participating. And because my lights stay on, I used to turn them off, but I said, no, I'm going to leave my lights on. So I leave the scary music playing, and it's really creepy, scary. I'm like, ooh, it really is. They got a woman crying on there. Got a man arm getting sunk, his arm getting broke. Bats and the creaky door and the whole shebang. I'm like, what is it? But it worked because they cleaned me out. I think I have maybe 7 pieces left.
Wow.
And like around 8:30, I went out there and there was those 7 pieces left. So I went back out there at 9:30, same 7. I said, okay, nobody coming now. So I brought everything back in the house, put everything back the way it was on the front porch. And, I had a few of them pieces and I'm good. I had some all day, actually. I had candy throughout the all day. But, yeah, it's some still there over there in the jars. Just maybe 4 or 5 left, whatever. But, yeah, that was the extent of my Halloween. Yep, that was it, y'all. That was it. But these ladies had a little more scarier situation on that doggone swing. Why do folks want to live like they want to not live? I don't understand this. I just don't get it. What were you gonna say?
No, I go ahead.
No, I'm just ranting. Like why? I don't understand why risking your life seems like fun.
No. Not for me.
Anybody out there, whoever listen, watch, listen, do y'all think, testing the laws of nature seems like a fun thing to do? Living on the edge, literally. Oh my gosh. Girl, listen, I'm on the escalator. I'm thinking, if this is it, then let it be quick.
Listen, I had a friend that had an accident on. Do you remember back in the day when they had Marineland here in California?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was way too many people on the escalator, and one kid fell, and then it caused like an avalanche, and he got very injured on the escalator. So, side note, tangent. Sorry about that. So you know what? You can be afraid of an escalator, and you can be afraid of a bike.
Let me add something to it. It's not the escalator, it's the height. I'm scared of heights.
Yes.
So when I'm looking out and I know I'm high up, that's the fear versus just being on it. I'm fine with it, but then I'll, make sure I'm about to catch the next one. And don't let me be at the airport, Jesus. It's just disastrous. And if I have more than one bag, of course I'm on the elevator. But if I just have my carry-on in my purse, I'm okay. But I actually feel safer. Funny as that may sound, I'm not as frightened when I have luggage on the escalator. But by myself, girl,
the things you find out about your friends when you're supposed to be talking about a finale.
Hey, scary time, Halloween.
Right? Absolutely. No. I totally, I have a thing where I cannot stand being in a car going up a steep hill, especially if it stops at a light, and especially if it's a stick shift.
Yeah.
If it's a stick shift, I want to just get out and walk.
Yes, girl.
Because I have anxiety dreams where I will be in a car that falls backwards down a steep hill. Yeah. So in real life, I'm like, I don't want this. So San Francisco, driving around could be rough for me.
Girl, listen, it ain't even got to be a steep hill. The fact that it's a hill, enough hill, because where I live, there's one particular part of the area that your car will roll back. And I'm like, oh, I feel a little twinge.
Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, it's yeah, it gets me.
Yeah, Jen. Don't suggest nothing else that's gonna make us feel uncomfortable when watching.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just saying, Jen. If you listen, Jen, Ryan, if anybody that's listening, watching, listening, don't do that no more.
Yeah. Shannon,
So,
God.
for y'all who don't, if you don't know, we're talking about a scene in this episode where they're in Amsterdam and Jen suggests something for them to do, and they're swinging over the edge of a building, 50 stories high? I mean, I don't know, skyscraper level.
There's no way I'm like, no.
What's the point?
No, I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. The point is I don't know, because I don't. No.
It was like, oh, here's something for us to do. What?
No, there is not. I'm not. No, I'm not need to hang over a building. Why? What kind of view do you want me? I could enjoy it from inside, looking out of the glass.
Girl.
I don't. No, I'm no. That's simple.
Anyway.
No.
Well, speaking of Jen, okay, this episode, right? That, you know how they are coming in. We can just get the dive into it. Let's dive in. Yeah. So, at the beginning where they're showing us some montages and vignettes of things that happened before, that I never saw this, or I don't know where I was, or maybe this is the first time they're showing it, but you've probably seen it. Ryan told Jen he's sick and tired, literally verbatim, sick and tired of paying for Jen's shit, but I called it old baggage. Did I miss that? Did they play that before?
I don't think so, because I remember, I remember the scene where he tells her, like, I want to talk to Will, like, why am I paying for your kids, kind of thing. But I don't remember that. No.
Exactly. Girl. Jen, if you don't take heed to that conversation this episode when they're telling you to that's probably what they told her, child. Get your independence together, because he's sick and tired of paying for your own baggage. Now, of course, he knew what he was getting into. You can't put it all on her. But he's saying he's sick and tired. And that may lead to him resenting you, i.e., another coochie on his lap. Just saying, because we know how he
Right. And they talked about that too.
See?
Do you think he was referring to maybe, like, on top of, like, the rent and all of that, then there's also the yoga rent? Like, I mean, she, I think, came basically into his home with about $200,000 worth of debt off rip.
Whatever it is, he's sick and tired. But listen, at this point, whatever it is, it could, like I said, it can be a plethora of financial baggage that she has,
because she has a lot of it.
And then that whole thing that Tamara brought up, because she seems to be the magnet plug to all of the dragging, what's that called? The tea and mess about these ladies. She happens to get these notifications. So, and that not new thing, but the continuance of the back rent. No telling what it is. He's sick and tired of it. That's what he said.
Yeah. Well,
don't let your man chip in.
Yeah, get it
if
together.
All you got is $50 left. Okay, Ron, I'm gonna take care of this, and I got this, or I got, don't start chipping in more, boo. Chip in more, because he's sick and tired of paying.
This is her 3rd season, right?
Yes.
Can you believe that? God, time flies. Like, she feels still so new to me. But by third season, this is just my opinion, and that's what we're doing because we like to judge for sport. Okay. My opinion is by third season, you need to have some endorsements together. Why else are you on this platform? Like you need to be sporting some yoga clothes, or you need to be having your own candle. I don't necessarily think you need to go into.
Lord, I'm not the candle.
I know, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was kidding. I was being a jerk. We don't need any more, no more candles. No, she needs to straight up just promote something with a brand that already has a package, that already has instructions. She doesn't need to be her own entrepreneur. She just needs to get a $25,000 brand deal. You know, a housewife can get that. Schlep some vitamins. I don't know what you got to do. You know, some healthcare products, something. But
something.
Especially for what this is my belief. If you're going to go on this show, you need a strategy. Even if you have a very healthy marriage and a hell of a lot of money, then you need to decide, why am I going to be on this show and what's my strategy regardless, because they're going to go through every single thing you've ever done in your life. They're going to look up and find out about and gossip about and exploit, if not you, then the bloggers, as we know. And they, and if you need to have good reason to disrupt your happy home, other than I just want the attention. And if that's the case, I've yet to come across a housewife that I think that, you know, that's good enough, you know?
Right.
Because especially in the beginning, they don't really pay you enough to really solve your financial problems, but you sure as heck, when you're on a Real Housewives franchise, can absolutely start making side money.
And to be honest, Jen, if you listen, watching this, and Ryan, anybody, her kids, anybody, even the ex, you may want to let her know to watch this part. Jen,
will pay attention.
Girl, listen. No matter what will or won't do, no matter what Ryan does or sick and tired of doing, start pitching in more. Listen to your coworkers, your castmates, when they're giving you all this advice on how to be independent. Not necessarily hoard the money, but you may need to dish out more than you keep for yourself for a rainy day, because your man got you. He got this. Let him be your rainy day, but chip in more, because you need to. He's sick and tired. Plus, he shouldn't be responsible for the mess you caused. This will grow your brain and grow your integrity and grow everything about who you are. You, without any other adult person providing. You have to do it. But let Ryan pay whatever he's paying, but take some of that off of him, because again, he has a track record, and you don't want to make him resent you, because once you start resenting somebody, you lose respect, which is they gonna do whatever they gonna do. So just say, just a helpful hint from the auntie. That's it.
And when someone comes into your life that is a big drain on your resources, eventually that will get to you if they don't stop being a drain on your resources.
That part.
And so I'm not saying that you can't want a traditional relationship where the man is the provider, but considering how y'all got together, considering his track record, considering a lot of things, you'd be a fool to not have your own.
And while we're talking about her, let's just go, because all of this is relative. How she brought up later on in the episode, how she brought up, you know, will she, you know, still look her best, you know, for her relationship when they get old? And because I think all of this is relative, and there may be some things she's not saying, because we know how she liked to hold info and not really discuss the things that she's involved in, i.e., Katie and i.e. Gretchen and all these other things that she got called on. Anywho, I kind of feel like all of that's relative to him being sick and tired she feeling like she, she's worried about whether she'll still have it in her, and that he'll still want her the same as they get older. And, I don't know. Something tells me all that's running on the same phone line, if you ask me,
Yeah, Jen, I think all of us in some way can understand and or relate to Jen being like women are raised that our looks are our currency and that our attractiveness to a partner is important. Um,
Mhm.
what I think is interesting is that I think because he has flirted or been unfaithful or when they were on a break, and I put that in quotes, I think because she knows that he has some shady past behavior. I think she's
Mhm.
obviously very insecure about it. And like I said, from the outside looking in, everyone's watching this woman kind of get a little too thin. Her lips are a little too big, like, trying a little too hard, starting to look kind of like a caricature of herself. And it's like, instead of obsessive on hanging on to your looks or any of that, it would be really wise of you to like actually get some assets and stuff so that when he is annoyed, it's not because you ain't got no money. Because like you said, resentment is going to drive him to other coochie just as fast as if your looks went.
Girl.
So get it together. I'm just kidding. I mean, but yeah.
For
I
real,
mean,
for real.
third season, baby. Come on.
Now,
Start, get some hair extensions as a joke to Tamra. Start schlepping hair. Come
I'm
on.
just saying, it's some people out there, it's some brands out there that would love for you to, advertise so and so and just be, I don't know. Again, pick up, girl, do a one-on-one class on the low with Gretchen and whoever else to build your brand.
Yeah.
Because you need more than this housewives check.
Call up Portia. Get some go naked hair.
Girl, something.
Yeah. Like I said, make some funny money off the fact that you were wearing Tamara's hair extensions.
Something tells me maybe they have approached her. I don't know, child, because she seemed a little ditzy. I don't know. Check your spam folder first. Please. Just check the spam and just put in some keywords, sponsorship, brand, ambassador, something, those buzzwords. Maybe some will pop up that you ain't seen. Just saying.
And I would like to say Ryan Helper, but he's the idiot that came up with the DP hat and then those ads where he was naked and she's like looking at his junk. Like it was so. Did you ever see that on their Instagram?
Girl, nah.
Oh, you don't ever want to. You'll poke your
That's
own
probably
eyes
why I
out.
didn't.
You
No,
don't want to. No, it's so. That was the first season after what Tamara did. He has
definitely not.
D asterisk CK pick on a hat, and he is
Girl.
posing naked with the hat in front of his junk, and she's in a bikini looking down at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and it was so bad and such a poor move that I really thought to myself, ooh, Tamara might have something here with the fact that he's a POS. Now, I will say he has turned it around by season 3, being a better partner to her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he has any more tacky white trash choices that he wants to make like that one. But my rambling point is I don't think he's necessarily the best advisor to help. I was going to say to him, help her get some stuff, Ryan. Help her get set up. Y'all doing workout videos together, start schlepping clothes. And then I was like, oh, this is the idiot that did that. So I don't know. Get some help. You get a PR, get an agent or do something, Jen. You have resources now. You are a housewife. There are people that will work with you.
And please, I think it's better that she surprise Ryan with it.
I
Let
agree.
him know that you're out there hustling and making it work for the family. i.e., taking the load off of him. Hello. So that he knows you're not just, waiting on him to do. No, you take initiative. So when you get your deal, show him.
Yep.
And say, this is my business plan for this, that, and the third. I'm doing, more brand deals, and just know I will be contributing because I want our family to be more secure. And whatever else you want to say, but don't you, and that's your business. You ain't gonna show him everything, but if that's what y'all do for each other, fine. But just make sure that you show him after the contract is valid. Don't just say I'm about to do something.
Yeah. And you just also, I think she could use that for herself to have more security in the relationship.
Definitely.
Because then she'd have more self-respect. And she would be able to say to him, like, you can get out because I can pay the rent. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that there's not a good power dynamic to be in a relationship where you are literally dependent on the person. I don't care if you're in love or not. Like, you don't get to make your needs, like, you don't get to demand as easily about your needs being met.
Hello.
And I mean, it's obvious she's a people pleaser to the core. Jen, I'm rooting for you to start your own personal transformation of like coming into yourself. It's about time, ma'am, because you've been on, this is your third season. It's time for us to see you, shed that first wife Oklahoma family business mentality where you didn't know nothing. You are a housewife now. You've been in show business for 3 seasons. I'm pretty sure you're coming back for 4. So let's see. Come on.
And also talk with a financial advisor, someone that's not a part of anything, just clear cut, and just and have an in-depth conversation so that perhaps they can guide you to where you need to go, considering, make sure they have the accurate dollar amounts, and just, have and pay for the consultation. We know you got it. And just go from there, because your 4th season, girl, you should be chipping in. Just saying. But, make sure you get that professional opinion, baby. That's all. Okay, enough about her, child, because we're talking about her all week.
Right.
So Lay's getting ready. Gretchen is, trying to get over the previous night. She's still emotional. Just trying to get over all the BS and everything. And I think she's talking to, what's his name, Slade, about it. Or I think she's talking to him. And she's just trying to find a common ground so that she's not so concerned and worried about what has transpired between her and Tamara and how it's affecting the group. And she just wants to get past it, so she says.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, I know I call him Slade slimy, and he is, and Slade sleazy, but there is something about the way that she turns to him for guidance and comfort and, like, genuine, like, she loves and trusts her husband, or not her husband. Like, I do respect that about their relationship. Like, he does care about what she's dealing with. He does listen to her, and he does encourage her and try to make her feel better and support her. Do you know what I mean? Like, he does do that. And I think that is a testament to the longevity of their relationship, that I always notice when I see a housewife genuinely find comfort in talking to her husband, her partner. Because not all people have that. And you think they would, because that's supposed to be your person, but it's interesting the variety that, of relationships we see.
Yes. And then we see Emily talking with Gina about Shane losing it.
Right. Then the opposite.
Right. Frustrated in that their special needs son, the behaviors was getting to him, and he lost it on, you heard the child crying in the background, kind of, I'm not whatever he's not, that Shane said he's doing or is or something. And Emily was kind of freaking out because she's in another country, in the Eastern Hemisphere, child, and we on the West. So she felt, was feeling guilty for not being able to be there for her kid, upset with Shane. And this is par for the course. I'm not excusing the adult behavior, but it is par for the course. And I hope that whatever and however Shane expressed himself did not set their special needs kids back, because it's important whenever a loved one is going through something emotional, if they're in a certain emotional state, it's best that the support system remains calm and is not engaging in the same behavior, because then chaos will continue and it's just going to get worse. So with that being said, I really hope that whatever Shane said, did, how he expressed himself in that moment was not to the detriment of their special needs kid.
I do too, because we all as parents want to be the best version of ourselves for our kids, right?
Yeah.
But I also feel bad for Shane. He's got all the kids, she's off. I just feel like it was a moment, like sometimes we all lose it. Sometimes we're all like, sometimes the kids break us. Sometimes it was like, and this happened, and then this and that, and da, and he actually seems like pretty even keeled. Maybe, like I certainly have had my criticisms of his like approach to some of his parenting stuff, but I felt bad for him. I felt bad. I felt bad for everybody, because I'm like, these things happen, and you're going to dust yourselves off and you're going to keep going. I do really think Emily needs some therapy. She gets really emotional with stuff. And I just think that's a sign of emotional dysregulation, which comes from like trauma. And it's kind of the way that she can really hulk up if she's been drinking, or, even when we saw at dinner about like, I'm about to rip you a new one. You know what I mean? Like she can just get into a place where she's kind of in that fight or flight kind of level of emotional fervor. And obviously I just felt for them. It was a tough situation. They've got to have moments that have brought them to their knees trying to deal with all of this, So it sounds like it was one of those times. Sorry.
Yeah, I can imagine, with the stress. Again, in my professional career, I've seen some things along my travels of living and spending time with certain people. I've seen, certain things and people that are obviously, disruptions, I just know several people with mental health struggles on different levels. And I mean, children, adults. So I have what do you call, they hold a special place.
An affinity.
Thank you. I have an affinity towards protecting and wanting to not exacerbate whatever the issue is. Because like I said, somebody has to be the calm in the storm. Everybody can't be stormed and going haywire, because then it won't be nothing left. Everything will be demolished.
And we know it's not going to be Emily. Girl. Calm. We know it's not going to be Emily.
And it's funny. It's funny because in the beginning, when we first found out, Shane was, and she would say, he's just calm, even killed, and I'm the one buzzing around. And it again, I don't think it was a breaking point, but
no, It just sounds like they got him. He got stressed the F out.
Yeah.
Too many of the kids, they had to get there and he wouldn't go and they were late, beat it out. It's like one of those that every parent has a moment where you're like, well, that was not one of my finer moments. I have had those. And what I personally try to do is if I do lose it, I will come back to my daughter once I am calm and I will apologize and explain that, like, I'm sorry that I lost my temper. I'm sorry I wasn't more patient, or I'm very clear about what I wish that I had been able to accomplish, and just let her know that I'll, keep trying. But I acknowledge where I failed the situation for both of us and apologize and keep it moving.
And that's a great thing. That's important for children to see conflict resolution.
I think so. And I think it's okay for parents to apologize to their kids for being human.
Too.
Yeah. I lost it. I love you. I'm sorry. I wish I hadn't yelled like that.
Yeah, it's a part of the conflict resolution that they too will carry in their years as they get older, and can apply towards their relationships of whatever kind, whether it's friendship, professional, romantic, whatever, or just seeing somebody on the street. Because how many times have we seen or maybe been approached by someone off the street that said something off the wall, they ain't right, but you don't react the way that they're reacting.
Yeah.
It's happened. And if you haven't had that, you will. It's just a matter of, again, somebody got to remain calm. And of course, it should be the parents. Okay. Just like we do when the terrible twos, so to speak, when the child has a tantrum, just sit there. Okay, so they can just go. Okay, so are you done? Greg, I gotta tell you a quick story about that. Me and my sister watching, she just had her baby. I'm pregnant, so a long time ago. Because we had kids in the same year. And what did I say? So my nephew was having a tantrum. Now he's been, still is, child, even chill, just a great, pleasant to be around. And girl, we looking. He came in the room demanding something. I don't recall. And he fell out on the floor, did the whole bit. And we looked at each other, we looked at him, and when he was done, my sister said, so are you done now? Yes, I'm done. And he went back to his room. I'm gonna tell him that story when I talk to him. But yeah, it's just a matter. It's just like that. Of course you're there and you protect them, make sure that they don't hurt themselves. But it reminded me of that. But whatever happened, he's shown pictures later the next day or something, to where everybody's cool, calm, collected, and at the office, to let her know everything was good.
It's tough. I feel for them. Like I said, we've been critical about how much we know about the specifics about this stuff, but I do really want to extend some empathy to Emily. This has got to be very tough.
Yeah.
And they are in the thick of it. And I do really feel for them as a family. And I just hope that they have gotten enough support that where they feel like they have a better handle on things by now.
Right.
I look forward to hear what Emily says at the reunion about it. I hope there's,
just to finish off, remember when Emily in the confessional spoke about moving forward and recognizing the issues and knowing how to apply. So it sounds like I'll just say they, because she's speaking for her and Shane, I'm sure, how they've recognized and now are applying whatever the treatment plan is. And now she's talking like she knows, like she's an expert in all of this. I feel like, okay, I see a bigger difference from we just don't know. You know, she was just all over the place. So I felt so happy in that moment to see the progression.
Well, she
and all of that. Yeah.
She talked about in the after show, they filmed it during the summertime because they asked her how he was doing, and she said he's doing well, but she said it's summer. So I'm concerned that once we get back to school, that it's, you know, gonna be like his level of stress is gonna be hard, affecting him again, and making things hard to manage. So now that they just filmed the reunion a couple weeks ago, we know that he's back in school. So I'm curious to hear what the update is at this point. But it did sound like they absolutely have a whole team that is working with him. You know, he's going to have his education plan. That's, you know, there's an acronym for it that I did not remember. It's like a PPP, you know, it's like a whatever. They're going to have
an IEP.
Thank you.
It's individualized education plan.
So they're going to get, you know, so hopefully they are feeling like they have more support to get a better handle on things.
Yes.
But this is the part that sucks, the part where you are still trying to figure it all out and you really want to help your kid, but it's not working. And sometimes you just get stretched thin and you snap, especially when your spouse is away in Amsterdam and you've got all the kids, you know, so. And his parents haven't been well, so I'm sure they're not really much of a support, you know.
I'm a lot more hopeful for them, and I know that they would, you know, weather the storm and find out what they need to find out, because it's all about the process. The process is difficult, especially going into it when you are unaware and you're still trying to handle it. And like she said, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? She's blaming Shane. He's you know, feeling blamed because he's just doing what he thinks he should. So she also mentioned how he's changed his way to where now he is more softer with their special needs kid when she was asking for all along. But I think within him being softer, he's applying whatever is a part of the treatment plan. He's not babying him.
No, he was
difference, you know.
They got educated on the fact that his nervous system needs reassurance through physical touch and like through nurturing, and that I think, and this may be the case for a lot of men, you know, that once a medical professional is able to explain the physiological reasons why you have to approach it a certain way in order to treat the situation and remedy it, I think men can then change and apply things. And, you know, there probably absolutely is a mix of a little bit of manipulation because he sees that it works. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have all of this going on. So it's tough. But what I appreciate about Shane is that it sounds like, especially from what Emily's saying, that he is willing to change and adapt in order to parent this child as he needs to be. And it sounds like they're growing closer because of it. And I'm telling you, that little boy is very funny. He reminds me of Shane. So Shane might just be
just like him.
Getting some, you know, therapeutic, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, pot kettle, Shane. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, whatever. I'm just saying that I think Shane has some interesting characteristics that make me think about emotional processing and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, they're just a family doing the best they can, right?
Good, big ups to them. I bet you by the next year, a year from now, the end of, if they're still here with us on the show, by the end of the season, we're going to be smiling a lot more about the progress that has been made with everything, because it's a big old process that they just have to go through and work on. Everybody, everybody has to work on how to relate to the situation. So that's great for them. I'm glad that they're moving in a better direction. Girl, that was all over the place.
Yeah.
So now we see Heather, Gina, and Shannon. Everybody's going, to they're going out for the day, but we see they're taking separate vehicles. Heather, Gina, Shannon, they're going to Jen's event, child, where they want to swing over the side of a building. Girl, bye. But what's her name? Shannon offers through her daughter's suggestion that they take mushrooms and go to this house of maze, this fun house maze situation, just kind of trip out and have a good time. Heather's in, so yeah, come in, yeah, I'm there.
I like this about Heather. It cracks me up. I like that she's down to do this stuff. I like that she's down to try these drugs. I do. I appreciate it. I think it's funny.
Still surprising to me. Like, girl, she was just this uptight woman that I like to be around, and now she's just free willy. Okay, girl, do you, boo?
They also probably took a very small dose where they're not tripping, although Shannon was funny.
Child, Gina, on the other hand, it's like she couldn't wait to try whatever. It's like, girl, she's just on it. I mean, and I don't want to sound like I'm judgmental, but it's just a trip to see, because they didn't portray themselves or I've never seen them, react this way. They're just so gung ho about something I never thought they would be into, but good for them. Like, just have fun and be responsible, but at the same time, to see Gina, she's totally different.
Well, and that's the thing. Gina gave up drinking. So, and I think Gina still wants to be able to have some of the benefits of substances. So I think that we're looking at somebody that would still be drinking if they could, but had to put it down, and so is trying to enjoy other things. And that's my take on it. And that's why I have and these are, I mean, you can't take too many mushrooms, you won't be acting right. You cannot substitute, but a small microdose, you can, there is, especially in California, psilocybin is legal, and it is in other states, and there's a lot of different products and things coming out about using it as a substitute. So I can see why she's excited to do this kind of stuff, because it's not, because she doesn't get to have a buzz anymore from a drink. Heather is a surprise to me because, like you said, she comes off so uptight. But I really appreciate that she kind of because, I mean, a substance is a substance, folks. Alcohol is, changes, you know what I mean? Like, there are consequences. Substance is a substance, period. We have socially acceptable ones and then socially not. And that's really the only difference, especially when it comes to alcohol, because we all know how easily that can be abused, and the level of detriment can be just as devastating as if you were doing heroin or meth, so because alcoholism, you know what I mean, the level of addiction and the level of destruction it can do. But I do think it's funny how we're seeing more of it on the show, on the franchise.
Yeah, and considering all of the allegations and fodder behind how the show, I don't want to say make them participate, but they make it they are, what did she use? Not condone, but promotes. Was that the whole thing? How the show promotes them drinking or promotes them with substances? Was that the word promote that was used? I'm not quite sure or remember. But, it's kind of funny because of all the litigants going on and accusations that, they're behind all this. And I would imagine that they would hold back from showing them indulge the way that they have been. So
I get what you're saying. Well, I think, especially Amsterdam would certainly be the place, but I also, I have friends that are in psilocybin as
Mhm.
as the therapeutic treatment for depression and anxiety and like, PTSD and all that kind of stuff. So I personally like I'm happy to kind of see them trying introducing some alternative things because alcohol can be so destructive for these women, as we know.
Mhm.
So, um, but yeah, it is kind of funny to see them doing that, but I think it's good, I mean, I thought they looked like they were having a good time. They were funny.
For sure.
They were funny. They were funny.
And I'm happy that they are being responsible. No one's,
Right.
getting arrested,
No.
i.e. Luann and on the show.
Right. Right. Karen,
Oh,
Luann.
Lord.
Yeah, nobody's getting. Yeah. Yeah.
Child. I mean, at least again, they're responsible. They're together. No one's leaving and causing problems. So apparently they can hold their own. They're having fun with it. Oh, and I can't believe no, of all people, Shannon, the more
Uptight.
subdued. I think she more than uptight, child. The way she, remember how she told her daughters, if you do drugs, you're gonna die.
Yes.
Yeah, she's loosened up and everything, and I think Shannon really likes to have a good time anyway.
She
Uh,
does.
yeah, so I like her.
Well, I mean, listen, Shannon, you don't need to be hitting the bottle so much. You might want to think about doing a little micro dosing of the psilocybin, a
Girl,
little
listen.
bit.
When I
Expand
first
your horizons.
when I first saw her, all the feng shui and the nine lemons and the whole shaboing boing when she first came on, I said she might be, she may need to have a little something just
Yeah.
to to calm down because girl, it's like what's that phrase? You can squeeze coal out. You can squeeze a diamond out your ass if you put coal up in it or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the way she seemed, just real prude and too self-conscious and everything. But anywho, child. Yay for Shannon. Have fun, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Jen, Emily, Gretchen, and Tamara. They call her Shenanigans, Shenanigans Bador. And I think Jen brought up the Spanx about, I guess she wants to be funny with the group. So she brought up that Shannon was showing them in the car and they showed the footages
Mm-hmm.
of Shannon showing them the Spanx. Oh yeah, it hides the fat because of this large large bra whatever she was just describing her undergarments and
Mm-hmm.
how it really slims her in, because she doesn't want the roll. None of us want the roll showing. I mean, like Heather said, she wears them too, because even when you are size negative, if your skin is loose or you have a roll, that it will
Mm-hmm.
be there. And
Or you're sitting and like little tiny roll, it's to smooth. She said
yeah,
it's the topography. It's to keep the surface, slim, flattened out.
that's exactly what Heather said. Topography.
Yes.
Again, these women have to look a certain way and present a certain way. So they need to look somewhat flawless. You can tell by how they come on the show. Rarely do we see, I guess the people who don't have brand deals will will look like they look. We can probably guess who doesn't have a brand deal. Hello. No
I
shade.
like
But
I like Spanx. I am I suck it in, smooth it out. I like even like, a compression garment just for the feeling. You know what I mean? Like
uh-huh.
I'm one of those sensory people that likes to feel squeezed in. I do.
Okay.
So I don't have a problem with it at all. I totally get it, Shannon. And not only that, but like most women need some kind of like holding in. Like, get out of here, like that's the average woman in America. How many of us all have some kind of control top pantyhose,
Okay.
Spanx, something? Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to shout out Grateful Candace in the chat. Hey, girl. Thanks for
Yay, thanks for
tuning in.
joining us.
Yeah.
Hello.
She loves Shannon. She thinks Shannon makes the show. I know that's right.
She is funny. Yes, Shannon was funny, and she was.
For
I
sure.
enjoy Shannon when she's loosened up,
Yeah. And I'm glad that, sometimes you got to go through something just to, come out as pure gold. And so far, she's shining. She's making all the right decisions. We don't see her sloppy anything. She's having fun. She's, like she said, and we're about to come into this. She enjoys showing herself a little more vulnerable. She don't mind putting on her Spanx in front of the camera or showing her, so she enjoys the vulnerability when she has control over it.
Yeah.
But as she explained in this next part, she had to address the folks because when they all came back together, Gretchen informed Shannon that, and now this was shady AF. Now, Gretchen, you my girl, but how you said this makes me think that you got some get back for Emily. Just saying, because no one questions whether or not someone is being fat shamed when they're being fat shamed because of what was said. And what was said was when they're on their commute, like I said, Jen brought up the Spanx, and Emily said, yeah, you know how Spanx, if you take them off, you're like a can of biscuits busting open. Gretchen,
Yeah.
come on, girl. Go ahead.
Yep. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump on it.
No,
No, I
it's all
agree.
good. Go ahead.
I had gastric bypass surgery when I was 23 and I lost 200 pounds. So when I talk about body image and fat and all these, and I've, gained and lost a rate. I've never gained it all back, never even close, but whatever. Just
Yeah.
saying, I've been on the journey for a very long time.
Yes. A lot of
Emily
us
has,
have. Shit.
right? Emily has also been on that journey, and she lost 30 pounds by the time we see her at the reunion. So we know, um, I really genuinely think they were just joking about her and Spanx. Like, honestly, it was not mean. It was not. It was just funny about how Shannon's kind of a roly-poly, always falling, always wearing Spanx, can't get it together in time. You know what I mean? They're just making fun of Shannon as like kind of
Shenanigans.
a, yeah, and like, and it was funny, like a busted can of biscuits. That's funny. It was not me. Yeah, Gretchen really did put some spunk on it that wasn't there. And here's the thing about it. I don't tell my friends if I think it's going to hurt my friends' feelings or damage their psyche when something was said about them, I am not going to run and tell them. What I really should do as a good friend is look at the other person saying it, going, that would really hurt so and so to know you said that. You might want to like tell other people that are not me. And then you don't tell your friend because you don't want them to be insecure or hurt. And them Gretchen talking to Shannon about her weight is not, and her figure, that's actually just hurting Shannon's feelings for not really a good reason.
Yeah, and then to say what Emily said, and then to ask Shannon, is that fat shaming, girl? If you didn't think it was, you would never say anything.
Yeah.
You my
Exactly.
girl now, but I gotta call you out sometime.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I agree.
a little water.
No, but I think you brought up an interesting point, was that a little bit of get back.
Mm-hmm.
for what Emily did, because Emily did, well, whatever. Gretchen, you can't say what you said at the slumber party and expect them not to go back and talk about it. You cannot. It's a whole different ball of wax. She slept with a member of 98 Degrees, and it's, versus Shannon looks like a busted can of biscuits in a Spanx.
Girl, I just thought it was, girl, Gretchen.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Emily's explanation when Gretchen, and when Shannon confronted Emily about it was total BS. I truly believe even that the whole busted can of biscuits was referring to Shannon. Yes, she may have said it in a joking way, but that's who they were joking about. So she can't say, I was just thinking about it in general when the conversation piece was Shannon. So don't say, I don't think Emily should have said, I wasn't talking about you specifically. She should have said, yeah, because everybody looks like that. That would have been, to me, a better response than to say you weren't discussing Shannon. So I don't know. And they all were laughing and whatnot. So, girl, Gretchen trying to pull it. That's okay, girl. That's okay, because something else gonna happen later. You there? Where'd she go?
That was, see, no wonder. I kept trying to talk and you just kept talking, and I thought to myself, calm down, let her finish what she was gonna say. And then you just see, it was my own fault.
Where'd she go?
I know, sorry. No, we all know Heather doesn't look like a can of biscuits in her Spanx. We know that because, we know that. But most of us who wear them do. Most of us, many of us do. More people look like a busted can of biscuits than don't. So it's like you said, it's kind of a common experience. I do think they were talking about Shannon and her Spanx, and then they started riffing on Spanx in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
And talking about what they thought about them in general. So what I thought was the best part about what the confrontation was, Emily looked at Shannon and said, you're my friend. I don't want to hurt you. If what was relayed to you hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. I was making a joke. I really didn't mean it in a way that's derogatory. But if it hurt your feelings, I am sorry. And that's really that's all you got to do, because it was not that big of a deal. And hopefully when Shannon watches it, she sees that it really wasn't quite the way that Gretchen relayed it and just accepts Emily's apology, because it did feel genuine.
I disagree. I think she was talking about her. She just don't want to say it that way.
Oh, now, well, I mean,
but I want to say this real quick.
Yeah.
The way production cut it, no telling what was said in between, because there was a point right before Emily started talking about the can of biscuits that you can tell that they cut something, that they pieced it together. So
yeah.
I'll say that, but the way it presented to me, now I wouldn't have ran tail that like Gretchen, but yeah. I saw it as a dig because she's always making digs.
Yeah, I mean, Emily does kind of make digs, but I guess what I just wanted to clarify is, regardless, I think she should have just apologized to Shannon and saying,
for sure,
I'm sorry if that conversation hurt your feelings. I was trying to be jokey, but it was not an area that you appreciate, which most of us don't. I wouldn't want to be called, whatever. It's also too, when you're not there and you found out people were talking and laughing about you, it doesn't feel good. So just apologize for that. And then let the truth of the matter come to light, that, if they're going to, hopefully they'll air it on the show to show what your true intention was. And then also, though, again, That's why sometimes you don't tell your friends what other people were saying because it does nothing but hurt them,
Yeah.
especially if you don't tell it accurately.
Yes. Verbatim, y'all. Hashtag verbatim.
Yeah, figure that out.
But I did hear Jen apologize because she's, oh yeah, I was laughing too. I'm sorry, Shannon. I just think if everybody would say, oh my God, Shannon, we are so sorry. We should have never included you in talking about, Spanx in that way. I think that would have came off, a lot better, because I just, I, I don't want this whole fat shaming to start. Well, you know how you will, how she mentioned how Gina felt that I don't want them to go there. I don't want us to have to go there with them. And here we go, reliving moments that, really don't need to be relived. Um, just stop talking about it.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. When she got up and walked away, and that tag was on her skirt, like
Girl,
that,
like sweet tooth.
just so funny because I could see Shannon just forgetting to take it off versus Sweet Tea was going to be returning them things. Just
For
saying.
real.
Because Shannon's a dick. I feel like they all look at Shannon as shenanigans, like, like the little roly
Mhm.
poly, you know what I mean? And then so her getting up with the tag made it even funnier. It was funny. It was so funny. You guys are talking about me and Spanx, and you're showing them right now as you get up to leave, and there's your tag. It was very funny.
Yeah, even then, Emily's taking digs and joking, and Tamara's laughing too. It's like y'all got it's I don't know. It's like how they're picking on Brittany. They know who they can pick on. They
Right. They
they
do.
they pick on them for sport. So, there's a little bit to that where it's not all fun and games, but luckily Shannon takes it in stride and she can laugh at herself, like she said. So it's
Yeah.
not that bad. They ain't dumping water on her head every time she say Spanx. So
Oh,
that's a good
God.
thing.
Seriously. True.
Oh Lord. We also see another apology. Tamara apologizes to Gretchen when Jen asks how Gretchen and Tamara are now after they swung over the side of the side skyscraper. And they're trying to, just be better, even though Tamara has this tea, girl. Anyway, and Gretchen would say, well, since she has lost two people to cancer, but cancer, one who was, her man and the other her man's son. It's, she would hope that now that Tamara's going through the issues of cancer with her best friend and she's upset and whatnot, that she would understand and not make light of it. And Tamara apologized for that. I didn't believe it, but at least Gretchen took it as gospel, haha. But yeah, Tamara apologized and Gretchen accepted. So
Mm-hmm.
Tamara thought of doing a friendship contract. Shout out to Cynthia Bailey and Nene Leakes from ROA, circa whatever year that was. And jokingly makes one through Chat GPT, even with a Slade smiley clause and everything. And they're just laughing, having a good time until they don't.
Uh,
Child.
because this shit is not real. They don't want to make up. And every time they try to have some scene where they do, they can't even hold it for like a day.
They really can't.
They can't.
There's one scene that I like where Gina is telling Tamara about confronting Gretchen. where it's not so much about confronting her for Tamara, but because it bothers her that Tamara showed her the post. Everybody's talking about it, the post that was liked by Gretchen. And we discussed it last week. Remember, I said, I want to know what's really going on, because they're shocked and we're all shocked and whatnot, but Emily's bothered by it. So she wants to bring it up. And for the life of me, I'm like, has she been holding it this long? But as you see, she's making friendship contracts. She's doing all of these things, and again, holding intel when she's had several prime opportune times to bring that up. And for the life of me, I don't know why she didn't earlier in the season. I don't know, maybe she was saving it for a grand finale. Sounds like it to me, but it is what it is. I'm glad Gina felt it prudent to bring it up, because it holds a I don't want to say special place, but it bothered her to her core for the most part, because she values the queer community to where she couldn't just let that ride and not say anything to Gretchen. That whole scene was a lot has been done in this episode, but I really want to get to that.
Tamara, I do not believe Tamara when she said that she did not bring this to light before now because it was too dark and she didn't want to do that. I don't believe that for 1 second. I just believe it wasn't. I don't believe one goddamn second. So the fact that you even said that, you needed to be slapped in the mouth. Like, sometimes, Tamara, like, yo, you don't do yourself any favors. You hung on. This was of no use to you because Gretchen wasn't on the show, and now she is, and now it is. And you are going, and you held it in your arsenal. You get sent crap all the time, I am sure. And like, because not only are you on this show, and all of them do engage with, and that gets into a bigger arc, which I'll save, about how I really don't particularly like the way that they're going in and out of accusing each other with bloggers. And I use the term in air quotes. I don't really like that for this season storyline. However, Tamara, you literally have built a podcast network with Teddy Mellencamp where you talk and gossip about other housewives all the time. All the time. You are the blogger now. You are the other side as well as on the cast. For you to act like you're not shucking and jiving and have a strategy. This whole season you've been a puppet master. We can just see the strings. Like, my God, that's the one thing you can't claim you're not doing. You and Teddy talk. I've ranted about this before. Here we go, folks. I'm gonna do it again. You and Teddy talk about this, all the Housewives franchises, and analyze it like you're on sports. They moved the scene. They, they were, like, in the scene. You have to move information forward. You have to do this. It's like all of that crap where it's like we're literally hearing the stage directions, and I don't want it. But it's very obvious that talking about it that way for as much as she does has gotten to her, because this season is particular, especially when she started to cry during that flower party in her house, or didn't cry, excuse me. I'm like, nah, girl. There are definitely some times where I think she's lost her cool. I think when they were doing the self-defense training and she was, yelling at Gretchen and stuff like that, I do think that there was some stuff, but I've seen her strategize with what she's doing way too many times, and this is an example of one of them.
I just thinking about it more and watching it over, she definitely held this as a finale type of situation. Now, unless they filmed this early in the season, which they didn't, because we saw the aftermath, it was towards the end. And then for her, and of course, we all love a good what is that? Hanging. What's the hanging?
Cliffhanger.
Hanger. A
A
good
hanging cliff.
cliffhanger.
A good hanging cliff.
Okay, we love a good hanging cliff,
Yes.
especially when they're on a trip and we get to, then they get to come back and talk about it some more. So this was the opportune time for her to blast Gretchen with this info. Now, if y'all live under a rock, and that's okay, a lot of organisms live under rock. That's fine. But what's been said in these streets is, and what they half-ass showed on the show was the whole issue, Tamara. The whole issue that Gina wanted to bring up. And did you notice how Tamara kind of co-signed? Oh, you mean what I showed you back in Orange County? Yeah. Bitch, you know what the hell she talking about. She don't need you to help her say what she got to say. Ugh, just smug and just rubbing it all in because she knew. Anyway, back to what Gina was saying. Because you, meaning Gretchen, have been liking these derogatory, hateful speech on social media platforms, and we see your name liking several posts. Now, they said that there are some comments, but they didn't get into the comments part. Now, I could be wrong, but they accused her of liking this hate speech, and then Heather read it. Heather exploded, and because of course she is I can't even. She's beyond for the queer community getting their just due, and especially with the cheering. She just had a fundraiser that she explained again for troubled queer youth who tend to want to take their own lives because they're not being treated right. And it's ridiculous that they're just going. Now, this may be an unpopular opinion, but how they just went down Gretchen's throat, knowing that she's liking hate speech. And Gretchen's like, no, I didn't do that. It's not me. I must have not known what it was, yada, yada. They didn't believe her at all. At all. And then Jen tried to ask her, well, is it because of your faith and you think, biblically? And that really made it worse. And it was just a whole shit show. They're all against her. And she calls, it was just a whole shit show. She tried to get in the van with them. That didn't work. They wanted her to ride elsewhere. And then the next damn day, they had a conversation that, I think we're wrong because we really had no proof. We just went off of these screenshots Tamara had. What?
See, so here was my thing with the situation. First of all, there's screenshots of her liking these comments. I don't recall seeing these comments for ourselves to even know what they were, correct? We're just being told that. I get that whatever they were salacious enough to be upsetting to Heather. That's fine. Yes. I can understand. Heather has been pretty damn even-keeled this whole season. She's been the voice of reason. I've really kind of been for Heather. Like, I always like Heather, but I really have appreciated kind of where she's been at this whole season. I think she's had a good season. And so I don't blame her. She's a mother of 3 queer children. For her to be like, fuck this. Like, don't you be liking that stuff. So, right? Absolutely. Now, here's another layer to it, though. Oh, and I will say, Gretchen's response was weird to me. But that's not enough for me to condemn her. It's not. If it were me, I would either be furious and go and chew Tamara out, like, how the F dare you? These are not real. I never liked it, because I know for me, for a fact, that I have never liked anything like that. I just know that. I don't even have a question. I'd be livid. I'd be like, this is fake. Or I'd laugh and be like, this is not true. And then I dare you, like, I I dare you to prove it's true, la la
Yeah.
la, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I would, an innocent person is either like incredulous, but the way she reacted made me feel like she has like some questionable things and wasn't sure. And like she was like, well, you know what I mean? Like there
Yes.
wasn't quite enough protest, and I think that she didn't have a strong enough response because I think maybe because she is a very religious woman. And that takes me to yet another point about this cast. This is Orange County. This is Newport Beach. It is a conservative area. There are Christians. And guess what? There can be people that look at you and say, I love gay people, but they don't believe it's right because of the Bible, which is why Jen asked that question. And I wish that Gretchen would have actually answered it, because I do think Gretchen might have a little bit of conflict in her heart about some things because of how religious she is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we watch these women, and I would prefer to not know, because I know that a couple of them, who they voted for. I don't know about this past election, but the one before, that kind of thing. Like, if we actually knew their political beliefs and all of their beliefs, we might not want to be watching them. And, we are all suspending our disbelief as we watch this show to see these women being quirky about their lives and their relationships, and we're leaving the fundamental things out because we want to be able to enjoy this show. And as long as you keep your business out the streets, because once we knew Ramomo was racist, we couldn't put that back in the box. You know what I mean? So we just had to move as we do, right? So I kind of struggle with the fact that all of these women are piling up on her, because I guarantee you, including Emily, some of them have liked some things or believed some things or have said some things or have supported candidates and given money to or done things that make them it's just a mixed bag of a-holes. You know what I mean?
Right.
These are privileged white Orange County women that probably have done some crap that you glass houses, bitches. I just don't believe any of you are holier than thou. Now, if Gretchen really is, liking that kind of crap, like, that's unfortunate. And, we'll have to figure out whatever. She was, they have shown a video of her wearing a Trump hat during the first election saying, and I think talking about wanting to like burn a Biden picture or something like that. Like, so listen, folks, that's the reality of what we're watching. I personally don't want to know so that I can keep watching. But I still do not like this mean girl shit that they did to her. They all dogpiled with the self-righteous crap, where really Heather is the one person that I would give the floor to really being upset. And then they wouldn't even let her ride in the van. That's some garbage. What are you guys doing? It's like Katie all over again, And
set my ass right there in that spot, and I said, I'm gonna sit right here.
Yeah.
We can keep talking about it, but you will not yell at me. She should have been more assertive, like you said, but be more assertive with them and stand your ground as far as not being ostracized when you feel and know that you did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I mean, 100. So, her reaction was weird. And maybe she was in shock, but I do think, honestly, I'm sorry, Gretchen, it just made me think that you had done like what you did when you got drunk and let it slip about the 98 degrees thing, where maybe you've liked some things or run your mouth somewhere that they could have pulled up that skeleton and you weren't sure, And so it did. And I would also too be like, I am not that person, and I am not going to allow you to call me that. And if I need to prove this to you guys, we'll figure that out when we get home. But I'm standing on business that I am not someone that believes in this kind of stuff, and you will not treat me as such, period.
And you know what? I think that because she couldn't find her words, she did the best she could in explaining her position and her stance. So I would have hoped that they would give her the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
instead of like as if they were waiting to chomp on her
Yes.
knuckles, knowing that they don't like her anyway. That's something Tamara was doing.
Yes.
That's the position and stance I would have expected from Tamara,
Because
but
that's what
not
Tamara
everybody
does.
else. I'm shocked that they went that low.
Yeah. I can expect Heather to be hurt by the idea that someone she's close friends with would actually like crap when it's about her children. That's a mama bear response we can all respect. I wish she had not bitten Jen's head off, because I did think that Jen had a reasonable question, because part of the reason that I question why Gretchen might have liked some of that stuff is that there are a lot of people, and a lot of probably white women in Orange County that would say, I don't have any problem with gay people, but I do think it's wrong because the Bible says it is, or whatever, like two things, like people can be walking hypocrites, and think they're not, so I wanted to hear Gretchen, because I don't believe Gretchen would betray her faith if she really does believe that there's the queer community, there's something wrong, or if it's not, or whatever. I believe she wouldn't abandon her faith. I think she would say it in a way that nobody might like, or this or that or whatever. But I wish that she had to answer that question, because I think that that's why she may very well have done something like this. Or because, like I said, she just looked too unsure about it. Sounded like she knew she had gossiped, but she couldn't remember what she had said. Like that's kind of the way she was acting. And I would have liked to explain how her faith comes into play and if it affects anything. But I also, to your point, really agree with you that they needed to give her the benefit of the doubt. They're her friend.
It was
Tamara
really
just. It was. And why are you making this woman go in the van by herself? You guys are assholes. Like, God, none of you are better than her. I'm not saying it's okay to like this stuff. I think it's horrible. Like, I do. But like, I'm also not gonna let some screenshots that Tamara got of her liking stuff, especially because we all know about Tamara. And then, Tamara loves to sit on a high horse and spit on people when she thinks that they've done something. Look at that. How much have you done for the queer community, Tamara? I don't know. Like, I don't see you being a giant advocate, but whatever. You could be, I guess, maybe. She did do a no hate campaign. But that doesn't mean that you don't know for sure that Gretchen is a piece of crap. Someone has given you some potential evidence that she should have to justify if she did indeed like it. She should absolutely have to explain herself. But then you literally, the next day, when you're sitting in the van and you're all sitting there like jackholes, you realize you couldn't even really super validate what was shown to you. And that's crazy to me. Why didn't you do that before you attacked her? I mean, doesn't your friend deserve that?
That part.
Because, the regular people of us, I don't know what I'm saying. Us regular folks, it can be hard to suspend your disbelief that somebody would doctor posts to make it look like you like stuff, right? It would be difficult for us to suspend our disbelief that, Heather, that people call the paparazzi on themselves, or that, the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni lawsuit where they're alleging that they did full-on PR smear campaigns. They do this stuff. It actually happens. There are people that are crazy, that they go ham, they doctor things, they lie in the DM, all of that stuff. We know this happens. We know shenanigans are afoot. So you've got to believe that it is possible for that to happen. And if you don't go and verify it, if you're given a screenshot of her liking a comment and then you can't find the comment, you can't find the post, you can't go and validate it. Now, there was a part of me that was sitting there thinking, Well, I guess if you got in touch with the person and said, "Hey, like, take this post down, it's gonna get me in I don't even know. I guess you could there are some things you could do is my point. And this is where my head starts to hurt, and I don't want that, like, much
Mhm.
responsibility trying to figure it out, right? That's why I
Right.
don't like some of this shit that they're doing with these storylines. Um, but I'm just shocked that nobody checked more into this before they literally made her go home by herself. Y'all are
Girl,
mean.
girl, listen. I know me and my girl Gretchen cut from two different cloths, but I'll be dipped and damned if you gonna yell at me like that, talk to me crazy, and just treat me as if I literally put a Bible in your kids' hands and told them they were wrong for choosing to do
Yeah.
this with their life. Again, what has Gretchen done for them to flip on her that just like that without being sure? Because in that van, oh well, we didn't. We I tried to find something and I couldn't find the source as to where all this came from. Well, why didn't you have Tamara show you the source? You're looking at screenshots. Everybody want to say AI, 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 and that, like you said, they can't find the original post or whatever she's liked and yada yada. And now they feel like heels because they
Yeah.
jumped on her without, and Jen dumb behind in the corner. Oh yeah, we just did all that without proof.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. I like yell laugh there. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Hello, thank you. IQ of 800. It's like,
And
girl, I was so mad when I saw that Thursday. I was pissed.
Jen, where are your loyalties, ho? Like, my God, you threw Katie straight up under the bus for
One time,
Gretchen
that
because
time.
you decided you wanted Gretchen's friendship more than you wanted Katie's. And boy, did you throw Gretchen up on you didn't help her. You let her go in another bus. You didn't even throw her under the bus. You didn't help. Why didn't you go with her? Why didn't you make sure she wasn't alone? Why didn't you say, you know what? I don't agree with the level of which we're behaving right now. I'm going to make sure she's all right because it feels horrible to be the only person, you know? And like I don't agree with her in any way if that's what she did, but I'm not going to like just abandon this person who's saying to us that she didn't, that she's not that kind of person, you know? And was emotional and upset about that like to be thought of that way. So, you know, at least if this woman is your friend, then you give her the benefit of the doubt. I get why Tamara didn't. We all do. But for Gina and Emily, and then they did, and heel is the exact word. Is they did feel like heels. They did because they were like, you know what? We just literally like ganged up on this woman and like banished her to be alone like and she just like accepted that at that point that she was getting mean girled and she just surrendered and I felt bad for her. It's awful. I don't want to see that crap.
And
Women should not
then
be doing that to each other.
then Gina placed the blame on Tamara because she feels as though, this is just another tit for tat situation that Tamara engineered. No, 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 no. All y'all is in this. Everybody who's sitting in the back row, and Heather too, girl, you was quiet listening to them talk because you is wrong as two left shoes too. You my girl now, but I'm gonna let you know when you're wrong.
Like I said, I appreciate that Heather said to Gretchen, you need to prove to me you didn't do this because if you did, I don't want
I
to be friends
accept
with
that
you.
too. Yes.
Right? Because I have three queer children, and if you are openly supporting anti-queer social media, I'm not going to be that close to you. It's that close to home for me, and we all know how in danger trans children are, even more so, because of the climate, and this is a fragile time. So I can respect Heather saying, if now that I didn't believe you to be that kind of person, and if that's the value system that you do hold and you want it to be known publicly, then publicly I'm not that close to you. That's fine.
Now,
But
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that sentiment should have been echoed by everybody else instead of the pitchfork mentality mob that they did on Gretchen. That was ridiculous.
I agree. I totally agree. I'm like, and you all have skeletons in your own closet that make you look bigoted. I believe it because, unfortunately, like, listen, we're white people. The odds are high because we have a lot of privilege that we're like even unaware of. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
trust me, you've done something and you probably didn't even realize it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's just par for the course of being in a white body, and going through life. And for you guys to literally start acting as though you are better than her because you are so sure that she feels this way without really even, and then you look and you go to find the proof and there is none. Yeah, the pitchfork crap of it all. You did that way too much this season, ladies. Like, and that's another thing, Gina and Emily, you are totally fine to pile on and to do, get out of my house and crap. Like, you're totally good with that. But so don't act like it's all Tamra because you both are mean girls too. Emily's the one that started this crap of we don't want to be around you when you sent Katie home from your house.
Hello.
So, Gina, yeah, you can say to Tamra, I do appreciate that sometimes that Gina will call Tamra out. Like, I like the way that Gina said, no, I was actually upset with you for taking Shannon to drink. Not that I was really worried about Shannon, like,
Right.
I was trying to come at you about your hypocrisy, not so don't deflect. But in this case, so like two things can be true. You may have felt manipulated because Tamra showed this to you, or that Tamra had certain motivations. You had no problem though going at it. You wanted to bring it up to her. You wanted to confront her. You wanted to, and you didn't do anything to make sure that those were accurate. You were just ready to get into the scene, as they say.
Now, also, what was almost forgotten was when Slade brought up the fact that Tamara actually used a gay slur describing him back in the day when they were filming, talking about his feet gear is looking like I ain't gonna, she said a gay slur about him, but she also forgot about that.
That's exactly my point, that y'all are grimy in some way. You've used slurs. You called Slade the F word in the gay world that ends with the T or a G. I think she did the hard T, like, and are you gonna apologize for that?
And all this gonna come out. So
they better bring that up at the reunion. Tamara, you need to answer for that. Excuse me, you do, because you love to be on a high horse and hate someone for what you think when you think you're better than them, and you're not, because you used a gay slur on camera talking about Slade and flip-flops.
Talk about feeling comfortable in your own home.
I mean,
so yeah, and
that's why I'm
more
saying
footages out there, folks. Go ahead and bring it up, because I've talked about mine, but the whole issue is it's about how you think, because how you think comes out of your mouth.
And you know what? There's a difference in being ignorant of something and then learning more and changing your mind, right? But there's a difference to being not even necessarily ignorant, just maybe like unexposed, or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a total difference between straight up saying somebody looks like an F word. That would be like you saying somebody looks like an N word, like, so that's where I'm like, you called him a slur. So for you to act like she's so horrible for liking posts, like, you're not better than her, though.
Correct the
You're
mundo.
not. And you better get called out on it. And once you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm sorry. It was years ago. Like, I shouldn't have used that language. It was wrong of me." Yeah, well, can we shit all over you too, like you did on Gretchen? Because, like, you want to be forgiven for what you did, but you sure as hell don't want to. And she's going to talk about how it's different because Gretchen's actively liking stuff and, like, that are like statements against it versus using an inappropriate term or whatever. And but the point is that you are not so much of a better person, Tamara Judge, that you can now ostracize Gretchen and impugn her character because you would never do that. Yes, you would, and you did. I wish, yeah. I mean, I guess sometimes it's like really not the time to fight fire with fire. If Gretchen had said you called Slade the F word, like I don't think anybody would have let Gretchen like get that point in, but I would like it addressed at the reunion.
Hell yeah. It should be, considering production found it and played it. It has to be, and if not, then they're protecting her, and it better be discussed, or it will be discussed on another platform after.
It better be. You might even need to address it on 2 T's in a pod too, bitch. I kind of, just Teddy, ask her, what do you think about this? You going to apologize for your friend's behavior? You like to call everybody else out.
Right. Or is it just, how you are, and obviously, you let it slip. Like I said, you were real comfortable at home until you realized the cameras was on. Oh, she turned around, saw the camera. Oh, excuse me. Oh, girl. Yeah. Girl, I was so mad. I was cussing at my house. Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I just think, yeah, this was not well done, late. And let me say something. They all talked about the end being really dark, and they didn't know where to go, and they didn't know what to do, and they didn't have any resolution. And like, I hate when they do this crap. It was not that serious. Get out of it. Oh, it's so dark. No, it's not. If she liked some derogatory posts, that's crappy. It's true. It's shitty. It makes me think a lot less of her, and it does change, like I said, I don't like finding out that I don't like confirmation that my housewives are bigoted people. I don't. I don't like that in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
However, this is not that big of a deal. Hello, they just pulled up real quick the Tamara called Slade the F word, and I'm sure if we went picking through the scenes throughout the 20 years this show has been on now, all of you would have moments of doing something. Maybe you called someone the R word, the RETARD word. Maybe one of you, you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a point where some of you misstepped.
Right.
And so
microaggressions everywhere, child.
So, for you guys to all talk about how dark this is, no, it's not. Like, it's really, I hate how you set this up. I hate it when people set stuff up and then it doesn't deliver. Because this was just actually all of you being really mean to someone who might be absolutely capable of some bigotry. I get it. Let's address it. Let's talk about it. Gretchen, you better have something better to say than I misspoke. But I also, at the same time, understand that some screenshots that you've been hanging on to for a year make you a a-hole. That you weren't just doing it because it was really dark and you didn't want to expose. Yes, you did. And you hung on to this to totally take her out. And you did. And you succeeded. And now I think somebody needs to do it to you. And they did. That's why they pulled the F word out there. Because they were like, and hey, way to go, Slade. For being look the hypocrisy. Listen, sometimes
still producing.
It can't be all bad. Can't be. Oh, by the way, I guess it was true that like when they first pitched, I heard the Andy Cohen interview on Call Her Daddy. I can't
Mm-hmm.
stand that girl. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh man. Sorry everybody. It was painful to listen to her voice. I'm not a fan. I just did it for Andy. Um I anyway, sorry, side note. I just think that age group and yeah, ooh. Anyway, um he was saying that it was originally filmed as kind of a Curb Your Enthusiasm, so some of Slade's like dumber stuff were actually jokes. So I think him doing yoga and an ice mask was meant to be a joke. I don't know. He seemed like he's got a douchey enough personality that he absolutely would though.
Now, why I was so mad and upset wasn't just because of that theme, but the aftermath and afterwards of all of those, the true shenanigans of it all, when they got all this tea about how Tamara is uh um telling the show like Kiki did on Love and Marriage Huntsville. May she rest, but it is true. Just point it out. I ain't trying to drum nothing else, but they apparently some anonymous. I think I know who it is. His voice sounds real familiar.
Oh, I forgot about this part. Yeah.
Okay, quick, not so much of a tangent, but remember last year how that guy started to whistle blow because he was a producer and he got let go and he was trying to.
Oh,
That's who it's
him.
allegedly speaking, of course.
Allegedly, yeah. Allegedly, in my opinion.
It's just it sounds like his voice, however, comma. We don't know who it is because the person's anonymous who they spoke to on the phone, also some anonymity to who DM'd I believe it was Gina saying all these things. So they got him on the phone and talked, and he's given all this tea about events that happened in the moment where it all involved Tamara meeting with so and so, filming with so and so, this going on with this person, that going on with that person. And girl, and they're all just feeling duped behind Tamara in trying to, discredit Gretchen on top of now she's looking like, some bitter old whatever telling the show and all these things. Girl, this may be a faux part reunion while all this going on.
Somebody brought up that they did not like that they ended the season on a cast trip, that they didn't have a party like they usually do where they can
Yeah.
get together and reflect. And I 100% agree. And this kind of like slapped on tail end scene kind of thing, again, I reason I bring it up is I feel like it didn't, the episode as far as the finale goes didn't end that gracefully this season. Then somebody else pointed out, want to see the fakest acting like, like Bravo has to offer or whatever. And they showed like Jen and Shannon, like, but especially Jen reacting to hearing the information being relayed to them,
Right.
and when you pan in on her, it's actually pretty funny. Um, I again, this constant storyline is annoying the shit out of me because I don't even feel super duper clear on exactly the magnitude of what was happening. You're claiming that your friend was hit up by Tamara and Tamara was telling him about the season as it was happening for him to leak stuff, or what? And okay, that I guess is not good, but like um what's the smoking gun? I'm like kind of confused. Like I get mad when they do this because I'm like, you guys are relying too heavily on the fact that you all that you're like talking to bloggers, talking to the press. You all do it. All franchises, all housewives. It's a very sloppy game. we're all interconnected. It's shucking and jiving. Half of them have their own podcast. Like, what is your point? What is happening here? So I'd like you to clarify that, and I blame that on production, because I feel like production. I've heard rumors that production was really annoyed with how much like Katie went and talked to the press after her first season and tried to manipulate the narrative, and that's why she got sat down. And but at the same time, Tamara has her own dang blog podcast network, not just her like network. And I mean, look at Lisa Rinna. I mean, look at Lisa Vanderpump. Look at there's so many people that are talk to the press all the time. So
Right.
I just struggle with this being like, I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just saying, like, okay, what are you saying? That, like, can't, like, what are you saying? Tamara's extra a liar because she talked about stuff, or what? I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you, because she's leaking stuff that's like so bad? I mean, yeah, I get it. I get it. I wouldn't agree with it either, but like you just didn't set it up very well for me to understand like what this is like so earth-shattering about it. I guess
Well,
maybe to just show Tamara is scheming.
I think with all of the threats of her leaving the show, perhaps, that it just may come to fruition, depending on how she gets herself out of this one, the same way they expected Gretchen to get herself out of that debacle. Um, it's gonna be interesting, girl. Stay tuned, y'all, because we gonna be tuned in. Of course, we gonna be reporting on it every time that they show these reunions. This OC girl, they giving SOC a run for their money with all these these exclusives and bombs dropping and carrying on, girl.
Yeah, so let me ask you,
Yeah.
as an overall arc as we come to the close of the season, how do you feel about it? What do you think of it as a whole?
I appreciated and I enjoyed and I appreciated how the show was this season. Um, I would everything I've said, I stand behind. I don't think I'm taking back anything I've said all season regarding anything that has happened. I can't recall. So if I did already, then I meant that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but as far as the finale and how it's wrapping things up, they really didn't wrap up everything because of still we're waiting on the issues with Katie. And from what was shown, Jen is going to be held to task on her not representing the truth, not her truth. Remember, we need the truth, not my truth, not her truth, not their truth, because that's a biased opinion about protecting yourself. That's how I see that to be. We need the truth, what transpired. So I I guess because there's some unanswered questions, I'm waiting to really answer that after seeing the reunion. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or is there something that you think I could answer?
No, I just, like, for me, um, production, if you're watching, listening, shame on you for removing Katie and, like, at the other
Mhm.
half. I don't agree with that. I thought that, I don't know, that part, it flatlined for me in certain ways.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the Amsterdam trip. I did enjoy some of the dynamics. Um, I was happy to see Shannon have a relatively peaceful season as far as a lot of it goes, because Lord knows she did the heavy lifting last season. Um, Production. Ladies, the mean girl crap that you did to more than one cast member where all of you ganged up on one, I don't like that ever. I didn't like it when they did it to Lisa Barlow, and she probably deserved it. Like, I literally don't like all of the cast on one person. I think it's abusive and it's not cool. You all are agreed to be on a show together and to interact, and to like isolate one and dominate over and nobody support or back anyone up. I don't think that's right. I don't think production should be allowing it to kind of be that way. But I think also sometimes you can't control the group dynamic if that's what they're genuinely going to do, right? So shame on all of you for your mean girl crap with that on Katie and Gretchen. Production, I really don't want any more of this blog, she said, DM, all of it. No, like this is a weird break in the fourth wall that I'm struggling with. Because like it is an incestual network that y'all rely on the commentary world and the press to promote and do gossip, and people like Ray and I that sit here and speculate and talk about, like, you want us all doing this judgment for sport that we're doing. We're here to talk about the shenanigans and what we think about the people that did it, right? So it got annoying with the level in which you were in the weeds with some of that stuff, and you relied on that too heavily in certain ways, and not very effectively. So stop doing that. And like you said, I absolutely am foaming at the mouth. I cannot wait for some of the answers that do some of the confrontations, the way, and as Alexander Rogers says, and it's Denise Cohen. I'm ready for you to ask these ladies some questions. So I will give it the power of being a compelling enough season that I very much want the reunion. I want you all to answer for some shit, So a little bit of a mixed bag for me, but it worked enough for me that I still, I still enjoyed the season.
Well, y'all let us know.
Yeah.
For those who watched, how do you feel the season ended? Are you two waiting to, or reserved to answer that question until watching some or all of the reunion? How did the season go for you? Did you enjoy it? Were you disgusted, or were you in agreement with keeping Katie off of our TV or streaming
yes
services? Just let us know what you think about this season. Do you have anything further? I don't think I have anything further.
Nope, I watched the sneak peek, the first 7 minutes of the reunion, and there's already some to talk about. Katie already whiffed. They got her already. I don't know if you saw it. So
girl, I need to see it tonight. Well, as soon as we hang up, I'm gonna watch my phone.
You do. She literally tries to claim that she was told something by Jen, and then Andy I got in the earpiece. That didn't happen. Oh, just go watch. So I'm all, oh boy, that's the problem with you, Katie. Like, ooh. Anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself. That we'll save it for the reunion.
Question about that. Is that where we see Tamara and Shannon's face, where it has reunion at the top, sneak peek with the...
Yes.
Oh, girl, I saw that and kept going. I thought it was something else. Oh my God. Girl, as soon as we hang up, I'm watching.
Yeah, you need to. It's good. No, that's what I said. I'm like, I'm ready for the reunion, because it's immediately like, oh, Katie, man, you just might misstep your way out of the next season. You just might. You just might. There's something about how Katie's stuff just never lands. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't land. You don't got
believable.
No, and because I didn't do it, and then you call. I did call. You know what I mean? Like, once you can pull up your phone, you did call. Like, there's just, it just doesn't.
That's why she ain't believable, because these are obvious signs that, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You think we're dumb when it's out, girl? Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
but here's the caveat.
What's the
It's
caveat, girl?
the caveat is Katie's claiming that Jen told her. And so, because Jen is not a reliable narrator, like that woman is shown me throughout this season, she is willing to throw anyone or do, willing to do a lot of things to stay on this cast
Front
and to
time, back
stay with the
time.
fray. So,
Girl, yeah, she blow with the wind worse than Cynthia
right?
did.
See? So yeah, so that's why you gotta go watch it. So I mean that's what made me look. I'm like, oh, I think the reunion is gonna be good right off the bat. Shoot. I can't wait. Oh my God. What if Matt and Slade have their confrontation? I want to see Matt and Slade because Matt's a cool character. I want to be like, you're trying to claim to me that you didn't get me to like produce or da da da. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see. Get the husbands involved.
I hope Slade doesn't drag Tamara. Leave that for his wife to do. I really hope he doesn't do. I hope, let's just hope that he tuned in with Ryan. But let's just hope that he doesn't, because it doesn't help their comeback to the Real Housewives of Orange County.
No,
it really doesn't, for him to keep. Now he can still, make the comments he made, like, "Well, she said this about me. How could she bring this about?" Stuff like that, I think, is appropriate, but don't just initiate or outright be greasy about the woman. Just leave that for your wife to do. Just
sit there and say. Just sit there and say, Tamara, you said things that really hurt me about my child and me as a father, and you spoke on my son after he passed, and I just think it's gross, and I don't care, I don't, and like, you know what I mean? Like, keep it to, you have said things about me as a father that hits below the belt, and I really, really resent it, or whatever, but like, keep it to just the reason why you don't like her. Don't say there's a video, a recording, a whatever. Don't say the street said, no more streets. Don't do nothing. Just sit there and say, I don't appreciate what she has said about me. And bring up that she called you the F word.
Yeah, production got you. Production got you back.
Yeah, there you go. All right, now I'm
done. I thought it was one more thing I wanted to say. I guess not. Dag nabbit, was I hang up? But I forgot about. You guys don't forget to tune in to us reviewing their
reunion looks.
Thank you. Their reunion looks. We will have that prior to the reunion. We're gonna give that to you. So stay tuned for that. And before we go, let's find out where Erin will be all over these social media platforms while she's not talking ish with me.
You can catch me on Facebook, Psychic Erin Boyd, or as you can see on the screen, Psychic_ELB. Look up Psychic Erin. I am going to be running a November special where if you book and pay at the time of your booking, you can get a 45-minute reading for $45. That is a huge discount. I normally charge $111 for an hour, although I will give the aunts and unks a discount in general, a hefty discount. But this is a super duper deal that I'm just kind of doing a little holiday situation where you're pretty much getting the amount of time of a full reading for like half the price, if even less. And I still will take the time to do a meditation, pull cards ahead of time, have notes prepared for you when we meet. So hit me up in the DMs if you would like to book one as we get towards the end of the year.
Yes. And just know I had a reading. I appreciate it. I'm going to get another one real soon. And also we have a little tay-to-tay this week where she gave me some insight on some things. So yeah, y'all, it's don't sleep on psychic_ELB. Just saying. Now,
Oh,
just
and one more thing. Blow some cinnamon through your door. It is the first. It is still the first. And if you do so, that brings prosperity. The first of the month, it's always an opportunity to blow a little cinnamon through your doorway.
Oh,
the front door.
Let me go ahead and do that as soon as
right?
girl.
I love little symbolic things, little easy, quick, magical, little rituals like this for occasions such as this. So yeah, everybody put a little cinnamon in the door. Blow a little cinnamon through the front door.
Okay, real quick, does the door have to be closed, open? Can you use the fan? How does
the way I do it, we have kind of an entryway, and so that gets a lot of foot traffic, and then we you further go into the house. So I just stand on the porch. I take a little maybe a dime size bit of cinnamon in my hand, and I just blow it through the open front door.
Okay.
And so that act of through the front door, you can clean it up after if you have a situation where it doesn't, that size doesn't really leave much of a residue. But anyway, you don't need a fan, or you don't need to get too crazy. And like I said, just a little pinch, and to bring prosperity for the month.
All right, so those on the East Coast, you got about 50 minutes to handle this. And if you're on the Eastern Hemisphere, sorry, you can try for December 1st, right?
Oop, yeah, it's the first every month, every time.
There you go. And so we got USA covered. It ain't quite the second yet. So shit, what was that? Oh, so yeah, we are having a great time. And we want to also just let you know that some things are coming down the pipeline, and just look out for the next show that we plan to have. And again, y'all, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Sorry, something startled me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.